Professional Wrestling.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Feast or Fired. This is for September 4th, 2002. Technically, not a new episode. There is nothing that really special happened in this. It was just a recap of a whole bunch of matches and storylines and stuff like that. And really nothing worth going over. I was going to initially write down because it looked like they were doing like these are our top some odd matches that we've had, but no, it wasn't really that. After like the sixth match, I stopped caring. But I watched it, but there's nothing worth mentioning. So instead of talking about a recap episode, my wife and I are just going to both each give our top 5 favorite matches so far in their first 11 weeks of NWA TNA. So I'm going to let her go first with her number 5, and then I'll do my number 5, and then we'll go back and forth. All right? So number 5 and any reasoning you want to give for it.
All right. So my number 5 one was the tag team of Sunglasses and Eddie Gordo versus Noodles of Noodles and Stylus. I liked it because Stylus saved his partner, and there were some really, really cool flips.
Okay.
I can't remember any of the flips' names or even who did them. Just that they were there.
Okay. Well, for me, my number 5 was the Rainbow Express versus America's Most Wanted. This was the first match that Chris Harris and James Storm had together as the tag team. You know, when they were just thrown together because the Dupps refused to fight the Rainbow Express. Basically, I don't know. I really like America's Most Wanted as a team, and this was one of the most solid, just straight tag matches that wasn't marred with a story. It wasn't overly marred with a storyline. You know what I mean? But I really enjoyed it. I think everyone in the match was a solid worker. And I'm just gonna state it here right now. Just because they weren't the best matches doesn't mean they weren't my favorite matches. So like, I'll have matches on here. You'll be like, well, you didn't say that was the best match that night. No, but like, it's one of my favorite matches so far, and I'll try to explain it. So, please go on to your number 4.
Okay, I can't even remember what you said was your best match of any night.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. And almost always, the majority of the time, it was either the Flying Elvises or AJ Styles.
That's really cool. The next one that I have is the 4-way between Loki and the Flying Elvises. I loved this one because Egomaniac loses, and there were some really cool flips. I am sad about it though, because Estrada was the first one out, and that's sad. My favorite.
Okay. My number 4 was the Ron the Truth Killings versus Monty Brown for the NWA World Championship. Part of this is probably because I'm a huge Monty Brown fan, but I think this was also just the best match Monty Brown had so far. One of the best matches Truth has had so far. And even though the end was fucky, it just all around, it was a great display of both of their styles and personalities, ability to show off what they could do in the ring without it being way too short or completely screwed over by stupid stuff happening. As I said, I know the ending was messy because a lot of these title matches have been messy, but this one was pretty good. And easily the best title match we've had yet for the World Championship.
Even versus Sideburns versus Eddie.
No, it was the best title match. It was the best world title match in my opinion.
Okay.
None of Shamrock's matches were better than this, or even I enjoyed more. All right, so your number 3
is the Spanish Announce Team versus the Flying Elvises. I liked it because the flips were really, really cool.
Okay, my number 3 was the Hot Shots versus America's Most Wanted.
And America's Most.
James Storm and Chris Harris are a pretty good tag team together. But this mostly just comes down to this was a good display for both teams. that just shows the strength that we could have in the tag division going forward. And I hope we get a lot more of this because we have a lot of actually really good teams in TNA right now. The storyline here was fine. The payoff was good. The story shouldn't be over yet. I don't know if it's going to continue, but the Hot Shots, they lost. AMW, we got some retribution for that attack that took them out of the title tournament. But the Hot Shots did use those guns and beat them down at the end of the match. So I hope we get some more resolution from this going forward. And it was a really enjoyable match. So I would enjoy another match between.
I'm a little confused on the story on that one because that was after they figured out that that's who made them bloody before they could even fight in the tag team title match, right?
The actual championship.
Yeah.
Which would have been a rematch with Rainbow Express, oddly enough.
I'm just confused because I didn't even know who the Hot Shots were before that night.
They showed up one more time before this.
I have no recollection of it.
It was that match that I said I was excited about watching because everyone in this was someone I knew. It was the Hot Shots versus the Briscoe brothers. And that match got immediately interrupted by Malice.
Oh, yeah. I remember I read you the notes I had for that one now that I remember it.
I was disappointed in how that went, but
okay.
Your number 2?
The Oodles of Noodles Stylus versus Estrada and Egomaniac. I like the 3 out of the 4, and again, they were really cool flips. I'm all about the flips.
Yeah, you really like the X Division stuff.
I really do.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the X Division before Kevin Nash gets his hands on.
Kevin Nash.
You'll see. All right, my number 2, Jarrett versus Apollo. This was that match where if Apollo won, he got the title shot, and if Jarrett won, he got his hands on Truth. Or he didn't get his hands on Truth. He was given Truth.
Yeah, and it
ended up with Jarrett winning, and Dragon was like, it was a play on words. I'm making you tag team partners next week for the tag titles. As confusing as the finish was probably to the audience in attendance, and if you didn't understand what was going on like I did, it would be not immediately apparent. The match itself overall were 2 strong workers doing a really good job, and it is one of my favorite matches I've had so far. It's fun as and amazing as the spectacle of a lot of the flippy stuff can be. I do want matches that tell stories as well, and this one did tell a story of a frustrated Apollo and a frustrated Jarrett coming head to head, and they get a good idea of what the stakes were and everything, and it was a good setup for what we're doing right now, and I really liked it, and it made me look forward to seeing both of them.
I will admit, Sunglasses has gotten screwed over so many times that
This is also probably Jarrett's only straightforward match.
True. This is the match where the ref was counting for both of them because they were both doing this weird move, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had that German suplex pin, but they were both had their shoulders down. Jarrett got his up, Apollo didn't. Yeah. As I said, bad as that ending of that match seemed, it was the most straightforward match, and I think the only match with Jarrett that didn't end in a complete cluster. So I give it credit. I want to see both. I want to see more of these kind of matches where there's a lot less of the screwy bullshit. And this one was a really good one to show that. So anyways, moving on. What was your number 1 favorite match? And it might be mine too, because I came round on deciding on this. So go ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
It is the triple ladder match because Oodles of Noodles won, and I was super excited. And I love how funny they were on the ladders. I like the fact that they pushed them off, and it was ha with evil laughs.
Okay, so despite the fact, okay, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, despite the fact that they were all very tired at this point, because they had taped 2 or 3 shows on the same night. Not to mention that Even if it was only just 2 shows, Styles and Lynn had those best of 3 series on the previous show,
Not to mention,
which was taped that night. So like,
and Loki had like at least one of the 4-way matches.
yeah. But the triple ladder match was still really good for everything considered. And I have been flopping back and forth on whether or not them being tired because of how they were building all this should be held against it or not. And I finally decided it really shouldn't. And if I don't hold that against it, it is probably my favorite match, because that match right there was kind of the culmination of the battle these 3 have been going through. I know Loki's been more incidental in it, but it's been very clear up to this point that he's been sick of this bullshit fighting between the 2 of them, and he wanted to make it clear that this is supposed to be about the title, not their egos.
I'm sorry. Every time he opens his mouth, I'm super surprised.
I understand that, but yeah, ultimately, this told a good story. Was a really good match, all things considered, and it really sets the bar for X Division going forward. So, I know there's a lot of people. I wish I had a really, really good spot to put Flying Elvises on this list, but unfortunately, there just was no one super standout match for them that I could say would go on my as my number 5. So
I had them though, so it's okay.
if anything, the honorable mention would go to the first match, where what was the Styles, Loki, Lynn versus the Flying Elvises.
Was it all 3 of those?
Yep. It was those 3 versus the Flying Elvises with the first ever match that we saw.
I do not remember that.
And the Elvises won.
Yeah, Yang won it. I remember that.
I think part of the reason why it's really hard for me to put the Flying Elvises on the list is because of the story with going on with Siaki right now, detracted from quite a few matches. So it made it really, really hard to elevate it. And I don't hate the story, but I want it
to go away.
No. I want it to progress forward more, and I feel like it's not been moving as much as it could have been. So we've had like 6 weeks of this story, and all it's ended up with is we're back to I don't know where he stands with the rest of them because he helped them. So
Sonny Siaki.
I know he's number 1 contender for the world title, so we'll see what happens after that match. With that said, that is our top 5 each. We technically had 9 matches out of the potential of 10. But, yeah.
You can definitely tell where both of us lie as far as what we pay attention to.
I don't have anything planned for the September 11th because there is no show for that, so the next one's going to be the 18th. So, week hiatus, I suppose. Nothing I can do about that. They don't have a show for the 11th.
See, that would have been the time to get sick.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we just got overbeat. Anyways, thank you for hanging out. Take care, have a wonderful day, and keep on wrestling.